Good morning from Sacred Space at Titania's Realm. Shabbat Shalom. It's Saturday the 15th of November and it's, let me just see, 11:48 a.m, nearly the afternoon. I slept until 10:33 precisely and had a good long sleep, but I had 3 interruptions during the night, so I'm still dealing with a bladder malfeasance that's gone on for 3 nights now, so ergo I'm puffy and bloated and worn out and ragged, but it is what it is. It was pretty good for a few weeks there, so I can't complain, must not complain. It's a beautiful day here in Holland Park, Brisbane, Australia. It's hot. I've put my birdie boys outside because it's such a beautiful day, and yesterday I kept them in. Why did I keep them in? No, I had them outside yesterday. Must have been the day before I kept them in. Oh, getting confuzzled. I'm eating blueberries because I brought them out for the birds actually. Kermie really likes his blueberry. Do you want to see him? He's eating it. He's got it in his hand, in his talons. Oops. And say hello to the people, Kermie. Oh, you dropped it. You like your blueberry? Pretty boy. Not sure if I'm picking him up on the camera. Say hello to the people, Bo. Hello, people of Earth. I am Bo, and I'm feeling a bit hot and bothered today. He's just sitting very quietly. If it gets too hot, I'll take them back inside. But it's just, when I got up, it felt like it was, lovely sunny day, but it's very still, not a lot of breeze, so makes it hotter. So I'm doing washing, so you'll hear intermittent loud bangings, which is my washing machine. So there is that, but it's the only housework I do every single day, most days, is washing. A bit like my mother and that, she used to love to do washing too, and hang it out in the line and bring it in all nice. I think it's about the sense of that smell of lovely fresh linen and clothing, that lovely aroma that you have with the fresh air all through it. It's not really about the washing at all. It's about the olfactory pleasure of and the satisfaction of having nice clean clothes and towels and bed linen and you name it. We're a bit weird like that in my family. Well, it's one thing I share with my mother, that particular weirdness. She was so eccentric and peculiar. Even as a child, I remember she'd be doing a load of washing and she'd be all het up and with her anxiety and speeding off her dial on diet pills and slimming pills and Valium to calm her nerves, and the 3 drugs were not interacting with each other very well. Think Requiem for a Dream, tearing your hair out and gnashing your teeth. She used to do that. But I remember her vividly. It would get to about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and she'd be pulling washing out, and it was my job to hang it out in the line, which I didn't mind because I was a child and I still don't mind hanging out washing to this day. So I'd be, rushing it out to hang it out for her, and she'd assist me. And it was sort of one of the few bonding things we had, being washerwomen. You have to laugh. You kind of have to laugh. But anyway, I'd walk into the bathroom where our little laundry was. We had a twin tub machine, I remember that. And it was next to the toilet, all crammed in a very small space. And she'd just turn her head and look at me, and she'd be pulling her clothes off. I'd be, "What are you doing, Mum?" She says, Well, darling, I might as well wash these as well while I'm at it. And I just look at her. Okay. And she'd be pulling her clothes off, and I think she'd get into her nightie after that or something. It was all a bit frenetic, really, the whole thing. That was my childhood. Frenzied and frenetic and completely unsafe. But anyway, you won't think about that. That's just a happy memory of my mother washing clothes and changing her clothes at 3 in the afternoon. Probably in summer. It's more of a summertime thing. And she was feeling hot and het up. How old was I? It's about 7. 7 when I had that memory. But she did it, throughout my childhood. But I remember being 7. She was 38 when she gave birth to me. 7 puts her at 45. She's probably going through the menopause as well. Menopause. I call it man on pause because I've had menopause for 10 years, this trot. But anyway, they can stay on pause too. I need a man who's genuine and loving and whose heart is true and who loves only me, not me and every other for JJ that happens to flounce past him, by the gods. Anyway, probably never happen because men like variety, and I can't actually say I blame them. If I was a man and sex was just so pleasurable, I'd probably play around like a fool too. What does it get you in the end? STDs, heartache, broken relationships, divorce, loneliness and withering in your jocks as a feted old man with shiny leg syndrome. Am I right, ladies of Earth? All the men just unsubscribed. Oh, well, it's true. If you don't have the cognitive abilities to be a loyal, loving partner to a woman, you end up alone. I'm alone too, but I'm alone because I choose to be alone rather than settle for anything less than a man who has my back, my front and my sides, is loyal and faithful and genuinely caring and respectful of me and loves me. Why would I settle for anything less? I've had a lifetime of way, way less that I somehow cleave to out of some fantasy that they might turn out to be nice guys in the end. Guess what? They didn't. Anyway, I'm not angry with all men. I have lovely men in my life. My psychiatrist, my friend Jared, who's been in my life for now 33 years. But mind you, that friendship's been held together over the last COVIDian years by me, being stubborn. He sort of works full time now and he's exhausted and he's drifting. And I get that. When you don't have the psychic or emotional, physical energy for anything else but mere survival, all your relationships start becoming untethered because you just don't have the energy for people. I get it. I've been there. I've done it. Just don't have the energy for people, especially people who treat you cruelly. So you've got to save that energy for your own being. Right, that's my philosophical thought for today. I had an unusual thing happen last evening, second evening in a row last evening that a stranger came to my gate or my door. The other evening it was my neighbour diagonal from me who came to say hello because I'd helped his family, get their cat safely home. And that was very kind. And then, so it's involving people's pets as well. It's a bit strange. Anyway, last evening I was in my kitchen mucking around, making a cup of tea or starting to prepare dinner or something. I remember I was listening to a podcast and I had it up loud, and the man must have banged quite hard on the door because I don't always hear my front door if people knock. I've got a bell there as well, but if they knock I don't always hear it, but he was banging on the door and I didn't know who it was, so I got a bit of a fright. It was 6 o'clock in the evening. So I ran to the door because I knew by the frantic knocking that it was something, someone in distress or something important. So I opened the door and there's a man there, and I've seen this man before. I think he's come with his kids to Halloween. So I'm not even sure what house he lives in, but he must live nearby, very close by in my street. And he had this little white fluffy dog in his arms. And he just looks at me and said, "Are you the owner of Sophie?" I said, "Is that Sophie?" I wasn't even sure it was Sophie. I was sort of taken a bit by surprise. And he said, "Yes." I said, "No." I said, "She belongs to the house over there, 2 doors up, the lovely newish house." "Oh," he said, "I thought you owned her." Sweet. And I said, "No, I don't." And he said, "Well, in the storm," he had literally arrived on dusk at this massive big storm building behind us, So it was a little bit unusual, but what had happened was little Sophie's so terrified of storms, she'd run away. And her human parents were away, So anyway, so I said to him, "Go and put her over their front fence. She might run back inside." And I said, "But I'll stay and watch here in case she bolts straight away, and then we'll know where she's getting out." So he did. He ran across with her in his arms. He was a very lovely man holding her in his arms. And he put her over their front little fenced area. And while I stood at my front door watching, little Sophie immediately pushed her way out, squeezed her way out between the front bars of their fence, and I burst out laughing. I said, "Well, we know how the little bugger's getting out now." I said, "So that's a hopeless thing because she's just going to keep doing it." He said, "Look, I really can't have her at my house. I've got a cat and my cat is really upset and angry." And I went, "Yeah, I get it." I said, "Well, I've got no cats or dog anymore." I said, "Leave her with me. I'll hold on to her till, my neighbours come home and I'll return her." Anyway, he said to me, he said, "Would you do that? I'm so relieved." And I went, yeah, I'm happy to have her here. It's a bit of company for me on a Friday evening. I sit here all alone anyway. And he said, "Oh, that's very kind of you, Tanya." I said, "No worries." He said, "Well, I've tried to call them," he said, "but the phone must be an old number. It keeps going straight to message bank and I couldn't get through, and I've left messages." He said, "I'll leave them another message to say that Sophie's at Tanya's house at 44 Diamond Street." Oh, well, you all know my address now, but I don't care. My stalkers stalk me, but you've been doing it for years via the internet, so just behave, boys. Anyway, oh, you have to laugh. Well, anyway, doesn't matter. The paranoiacs in my life will be screaming their head off now, but I'm not afraid of anything and anyone. I've nearly died 16 times. If someone eventually comes to kill me, it probably won't happen at my home because I'll fight to the death and it won't go good for you. But if someone actually actively tried to kill me, it's more likely to happen in a hospital or outside a club somewhere with the level of threat that I encounter there. It could be some random idiot anywhere in the known city. I don't live in fear. But this paranoia in my life has me so paranoid that I immediately went, oh, about giving out my address. That's all right. If you're a friend, come and see me. If you're a foe, I don't recommend it. Anyway, so here's the thing. So I said to him, tell her where the doggy is. And so he trots off through my front gate, happy and relieved that I'd taken custody of little Sophie for the evening. And she's a lovely little dog, but she was so terrified from the thunder and lightning. She was shivering, and I didn't have any dog food here because my dog died on 1st of August 2023. Still not fucking over it, quite frankly, but as a consequence I don't have any dog biscuits in the house or any dog treats or anything to feed her. So I was like, what am I going to feed her? So I fried up 3 eggs, 2 eggs. I fried up 2 eggs for her, and I put it, cooled it down. I put it down. She was too frightened to eat, so I brought her into the living room with me, and I sat and, I was watching Frankenstein of all things, which was kind of weird given the storm raging all around us. And she was so frightened, she went and stuck her head, burrowed behind my couch, her whole body burrowed under in the dark. I thought, the poor little thing's really traumatized. I thought, well, I'll leave her alone there. She's not my dog, and I don't want to make her even more frightened by trying to coerce her into sitting with me, So she sat there, and then when the storm ended, she came out bright as a button, happy as Larry, looking at me. Sweet little girl. She really is a sweet little dog. So then the lorikeets are here. Hello, boys. So then I took her and sat her up on the couch with me. She's looking at me quite contentedly, and then I could see she was hungry, so because I'd cooked something up to eat. I couldn't give it to her because I'd put salt and pepper in it. And you can't have this, Sophie. And she's like, So I cooked her up another egg. She had 3 eggs last night. I don't know if that's overfeeding eggs to a dog or not, but she was quite hungry. So she ate the 3rd fried egg, and then she looked at me as if to say, I'm good now, thank you. Yes, and then we went and sat on the couch. And anyway, but so in the midst of all this, I had a phone call from Sophie's parents, human parents, and it was the partner, Jack. He said, we're down the Gold Coast. He said, our son is actually there, but he works very hard in a very, very physical job, so he's probably passed out, didn't hear the knocking. I said, no, he didn't hear the man knocking. And I thought it was odd because the cars are here, but I thought he must have gone out with his girlfriend somewhere. He said, when he wakes up, we'll leave him a message, and, when he wakes up, he'll come and pick Sophie up. And I said, look, I'm happy to have her here, until you come back from the Gold Coast. I said, it's company for me, and she's such a sweetheart. So anyway, later on, I wonder, how did they get my phone number? Because I didn't give my phone number to that strange neighbour man that came to the door. I must have given it to my neighbour at some stage. So how did they do that? Because they've never called me before, ever. Anyway, I've got to feed them. He's flown over to where I put the food. One moment. You hungry, mister? Okay, just a moment. Give me your food. Yes, I know. I have to put it away because the turkey takes it all. You know that naughty turkey takes all your food? Yes, I have to carefully preserve it for you like you're my most valued birdie. There you go. Right, they're sorted now. My goodness, it's a full-time job looking after the wild birdies. His back is flown back down, starting to eat. Happy little bird. Oh, it's lovely, isn't it? So anyway, about 8 o'clock, I get another phone call, and I knew to answer, even though there were strange numbers. I don't normally answer strange numbers. Well, that'll be the son, saying he's coming to get the dog. Anyway, it was a bit weird, people of Earth. I mean, nothing, no judgment. It was just a bit odd. He says, oh, I'm here to pick up Sophie. I'm at your front gate. Why don't you come in through the gate to the front door? It's very odd. I said, oh yeah, no worries, I'll bring Sophie out. So I came out to the gate, and he's just looking there like a deer caught in headlights, like he's scared of me. It's a bit odd. Anyway, he said to me, I work as a labourer and I'm so exhausted when I get home, I literally pass out. I said, that's okay, honey. I said, I used to do that too, pass out with exhaustion. I said, it's all good. And I said, Sophie's been such a lovely little lady and a pleasure. I said, anytime you need someone to look after her, if I'm not going out anywhere, that is, I said, I'm happy to have her here. He just sort of stared at me like I was an alien. It was odd. And the weird thing was, Sophie had calmed down and was happy to be in my company. She acted like she didn't really want to go with him, which I found a bit odd too. I'm like, oh, Sophie, your brother's here. He's come to pick you up. She's just looking at me like, but I've got eggs and I'm happy here. Anyway, she went home, and that was the end of that little adventure. But I kind of thought about it later. I thought it was so sweet how the neighbour down the road immediately brought the little doggy to me, because they know. I said I always look after the silent ones and the ones who can't speak for themselves, and they're a priority over humans actually most of the time, depending on the situation, of course. And I thought it's sweet how the neighbours all know to bring the animals to me and ask me to assist. I thought that was really lovely. Kind of an honour, actually. Well, anyway, we're 22 minutes in, and I've gone on about all sorts of other musings. So, we'll begin reading. I wonder if I should just break this up. We'll break it up, because then it's just too long to wait with all my musings. Sometimes I put starts at, but no, we'll break this up. I've been very twittering and musing this morning, and we'll start a fresh serious video for Elliot Perlman's 7 Types of Ambiguity. So bye for now. I'll be back shortly.